Hello, 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 and my name is Darshan, and welcome to this new podcast that we have just launched today. And this podcast is titled A Chat with Liverpool FC Supporters in Austin, Texas. My name again is Darshan. I am originally from Malaysia. I am a huge Liverpool fan. I love my favorite player has been Steven Gerrard. I am very keen to try try something out here, and hopefully this is a platform for Liverpool supporters, not just in Austin but anywhere else around the world, who are more than welcome to come and have a chat with us. And this podcast is mainly, for supporters in North America, to share insights, knowledge, opinions on performances in the Premier League and the Champions League for the current 2024 and 2025 season. The content of this podcast will be more or less revolving around topics on team news, fixtures, tactics, current results, form, statistics, performances, and anything else that could be related to the club. So, without a further ado, I think I've given myself a very brief introduction already. Um, so let's get into it right away. So I think a lot of us were very passionate about Jurgen Klopp coming into the Jurgen Klopp. Basically, he took over in 2015. It was a very challenging time. So Jurgen Klopp, like we were saying, he came in 2015, took over from Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers did do a really good job for the first couple of seasons. He gave Liverpool a really good title charge. I want to say 2013, 2014 maybe, and then Steven Gerrard's infamous slip, which cost Liverpool the title. So going back, Jurgen Klopp came in from Borussia Dortmund, famous for his gegen pressing style, heavy metal football as they would call it. He definitely did a really good job with the team that he was given at the time. He took over with players like Simon Mignolet, Nathaniel Klein, Alberto Moreno. You had people like Lovren and Sacco in defense. Probably you did have one or two, people that were really good, like maybe Milner and Coutinho and Henderson. Um, and then, of course, up front, they had pretty average strikers at the time with Origi and I might even say, I can't remember who that last guy was. But anyway, um, so going back, Jurgen Klopp, yep, he's done a great job. And 9 years later, or maybe 8.5, correct my math if I'm wrong, um, he chose to leave Liverpool at the end of last season, after winning everything. He literally won anything you could imagine for the club in club football. He's won the Premier League, he's won the FA Cup, the League Cup, the UEFA Champions League. He's won the club FIFA Club World Cup. He's done it all, right? As a manager in Europe. So with him leaving, now we've got Arne Slot, and I'm not sure if I just said his name right, but let's hope he doesn't hear my terrible pronunciation there. Arne Slot. So who is this guy? Who is Arne Slot, right? He came from Feyenoord. Um, he's definitely, a very good tactician. He's got really good PR skills from what I see in his press conference. Um, his style is definitely completely different from what Jurgen Klopp used to do. Jurgen Klopp used to always play a very a very high press, intense game, that really played with your emotions, and even Jurgen would be so invested into the team, and the players would reciprocate that, and everyone was just high on emotion throughout the entire period. Um, However, Arne Slot is completely different. Well, not I won't say completely different, right? So, and this is where I'm hoping that people like you guys might come in and have a few other comments on what you think the his tactics and his approach might be. So, typically, from what I understand, he still plays with the 4-3-3. He's a little more composed. He's trying to do more meticulous build up from the back. So you see the team uses a bit more of a flexible back line sometimes, between the 3 to 4 defenders to adapt their shape based on the pressing patterns. Um, of course, goalkeepers need to have a really good distribution there, and I definitely think um, that is one of the key differences I've noticed. Um, with Jurgen Klopp, his style was a little bit more where the goalkeeper would play the ball and defenders could play the pass, but there would be many times when they wouldn't mind actually sending it up front. Um, and then when the ball goes into midfield now with Arne Slot, he emphasizes quick vertical passing, and I think this is something that's a little different with Jurgen Klopp. You saw Liverpool pass the ball from side to side many times, and you'd see the opponents when they come in with a low block strategy. Sometimes it'll be a little hard to actually break down those kind of opponents. Um, right now, we have a different transition in midfield where he's got more of a number 10 role that's playing. Jurgen Klopp used to have maybe a number 6 and 2 players push forward. In this case, Arne Slot is more towards having one number 6, two number 6s who would sort of sit in there, and one number 10 that would really float. That would actually give the team a lot more strength and flexibility in transitioning between attack and controlling possession of the ball. Um, what something else that's really interesting is when they do eventually go into the opponent's half, that the high press, high intensity, rapid exchange and passing doesn't quite change. It's still similar to what we've seen with Jurgen Klopp. It's just that it's a little more subtle in compared to Jurgen's style. Jurgen's style was very, very much heavy metal football, high intensity, high press, high physicality, and you can see it used to take a toll on players, where players would be burnt out, players would pick up injuries, knocks, pulls, and all that. So, um, talking through about the different style of tactics here against with Arne Slot, how he's got a different approach where he expects his players to pass the ball in the direction they are facing. This is something that Jurgen never really implemented. I think it was a breath of fresh air. Of course, some players who played under Jurgen may have preferred that flexibility, but Arne is a bit more of a disciplinarian, I guess, and we can see that for sure with the way Liverpool have been playing. Don't get me wrong. I think with the style that Liverpool play, they are actually really, really impressive. They sort of control the tempo and control their energy throughout the 90 minutes, and they take their chances. And when they do get the chance, it is always someone putting the ball into the back of the net. It's not one of those teams where it relied on one person. Right now, Of course, there's key players like Salah and Jota and Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez. That front 3 and 4 players are incredible. Of course, no different to when Salah, Mane, and Firmino were up there, but it's similar. You can see with the new approach, they're more composed about picking their moments, when to attack, and how to finish. They were not draining themselves out as what we've seen in previous Jurgen Klopp games. So that's a very high level about the playing style, which is, a double pivot. Sometimes that can be pretty helpful. We've seen McAllister drop in that role. Gravenberg, he playing that number 6 role, that was a revelation, really, if you think about it, because he was never given the opportunity as a number 6 before. He was always played as an attacking midfielder or, some a midfielder that would push up front. But as a number 6, he's actually got a lot of time. He's got pace. He's a lot quicker than any of the other number 6s that come in. And he's actually done a really good job, But there's a lot of question marks, of course. Some people think that, he's playing against smaller opposition, which is why he may end up coming short in the long run. But we're yet to see, right? So far it's been so good, and we definitely can't complain about Gravenberg taking that role for now. So yeah, we spoke about Ryan Gravenberg. He's playing that number 6 role. That's gone really well. Moving on, Arne Slot, we're still trying to understand how he is planning to tackle the bigger clubs. And speaking about bigger clubs, this weekend we have a big showdown. It is going to be Liverpool versus Chelsea. If I am not correct, I believe the next game for Liverpool would be at Anfield. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it shows here online at Anfield. Liverpool do have a 60% win probability against Chelsea. Chelsea are, they're in a little bit of form at the minute. With Cole Palmer hitting in the goals and creating chances, and I think we're anticipating, some team lineup changes because of the international break. Some players have come back with injuries. Some players have rested longer. Some players didn't get called up, so they've had more time to work on themselves. It's going to be a bit of a interesting game. Liverpool, of course, top of the table right now. Played seven, won 6. That one game against Nottingham Forest at Anfield was a very big surprise. But other than that, Liverpool have done extremely well throughout the season. They are definitely favorites to win this game as well. Considering the form Chelsea are in, they will not make it an easy game, that's for sure. We can anticipate some potential lineups for Liverpool. Back to the team news again. So I think Captain Reece James from Chelsea is back to full training, and he is available, the 24-year-old defender. He has had a terrible time with injuries. I think the only unavailable Chelsea player is Omari Kellyman, unavailable through injury. Only the 19-year-old may not be such a big miss. Players like Cucurella and Fofana will miss the game through suspension, as they've already accumulated 5 yellow cards after just 7 games. So that is quick. Liverpool, of course, will be without star goalkeeper Alisson Becker, who is anticipated to be ruled out for 6 weeks after we saw him getting injured in the last Premier League game a few weeks back. Can't I don't know how to say Kelleher's name. I'm assuming it's Coleman Kelleher. He will definitely be the first choice replacement, and he should be in goal. Liverpool do still have Harvey Elliott, who has a fractured foot, who has been injured, and he is definitely still injured and will not be available. Federico Chiesa, who has played a few minutes here and there for Liverpool, in a total of 3 appearances so far. He would most likely be unavailable due to an unspecified injury. Having said all that, let's talk a little bit about the build-up to the game. What do we think might happen? Who do we think is going to make the headlines? Who wants it more, right? So it's, of course, Liverpool being the home team might be favorites. I think Liverpool have got a very, very strong chance to win this game. I don't think Chelsea would make it easy for them, that's for sure. Chelsea are definitely on the uprise, given the recent form from Cole Palmer and some of the other players rediscovering their touch. They have a huge squad, though. Just quickly talking about Cole Palmer again, he's got 44 goal contributions in 40 Premier League matches so far. So that is a remarkable statistic, given how talented this young boy is and how strong and quick he is. He is definitely always on the go. He's always making a difference for Chelsea. Some in other topics, maybe we can say Liverpool have earned a total of 18 points from a possible 21, so we know that's why they're top of the table. They've conceded only 2 Premier League goals, which is they're tied for the club's fewest after 7 league games of all time, after the 77 and 78 season when they finished second, and also the 2008 and 2008 season when they finished fourth. So that's actually very, very impressive. I think one thing we've always had a bit of an issue with Klopp and Arne Slot, has done this really well, changing the tactics to allow the players a little more time on the ball, a little more calmness. That would actually allow them to control the game better and reduce the risk of conceding goals. Having said that, it is very, very interesting to see what Arne Slot has got planned when he does come up against a bigger team. That bigger team in this case, of course, is only Chelsea. And I don't mean any disrespect, but Chelsea are in a bit of a rebuild themselves. They haven't hit full form. They had a few surprise results, but they are on the uprise. So that will definitely be a very interesting game. So, moving on for the game, building up, let's just think about this. Cole Palmer versus Ryan Gravenberch. That would definitely be a very intense battle. In my personal opinion, I actually think that battle is going to make or break the game. If Ryan cannot keep tabs on Cole, he will end up chasing Cole throughout the game. And here's what's happened before, right? That Nottingham Forest game, when Liverpool lost, they took it easy. And what happens then is the opposing team comes down and put a very low block on their defense, and they turn into a very a bit of a fortress to break down. Really, ironic. We were saying fortress at Fortress Anfield, right? So hopefully, Ryan, he's got it in him to actually step up and man mark Cole Palmer. Palmer was actually featured as a right winger previously under Pochettino. Um, but he has been still very impressive under current manager Maresca in a more central position behind Nicholas Jackson. Um, it would definitely be down to Ryan Gravenbach's ability to nullify Palmer's threat. That number 6 spot under slot. You know, he's definitely a good candidate for now. We have Endo on the bench for sure, but I don't know if Endo will be able to pull off what Brian is actually doing right now. So, let's hope for the best, and looking forward to that game. What does it mean for Liverpool to win? I think Liverpool, recently they've always been, especially after that big title challenge a couple seasons ago when Liverpool they played every possible fixture, right? Under Jurgen Klopp, they played every game. They played in the FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League. They were in the Premier League title race until the last day. That was the last time we really saw Liverpool go for everything. Ever since then, they've sort of fallen off the horse a little bit. And if you think about it, Liverpool have a bit of a point to prove to Arsenal and Manchester City. Manchester City have always had the stamina, the ability to come back and turn things around and fight back and win the title. They've won so many titles in the last few years. Arsenal have put up really good fights in the last couple of seasons, but they have not been able to see it across the finish line. And this season, a lot of people might be thinking, okay, Arne Slot, he's new manager coming from Feyenoord. He's probably going to try and learn a little bit about the Premier League and the fixture list and the physicality and injuries, and he's going to do all that. But of course, if we think about it, they do have a point to prove, because Arne Slot came in for this job not, trying to just, roll on his belly and take a defeat. And no, he's actually trying to take Liverpool into the next phase. So, and that phase being the post-Klopp era does not mean it is going to be acceptable to be lacking trophies or success. And in that case, they still want to be challenging for top honors. They still want to be up there. They still want to be doing good stuff. So, sorry, needed to sip a drink there. So definitely, Liverpool have definitely got something to prove here. And of course, in the Premier League title, there's a lot of people that keep saying stuff like, oh, they won it in the 2020 season when it was COVID, and, it was not really a real title win and all that stuff. And it's frustrating, right? As a Liverpool fan myself, I don't like hearing all these things, but unfortunately, some of this commentary does have some truth to it. And personally, it is a little bit frustrating, but you can't take away anything from the team. The team that won it played exceptionally well. I think they had, 7 Guard of Honors before the final game. They won it with 7 games remaining, something like that. So, the team has always been, remarkable. It's just that, people always find an excuse to put Liverpool down. And, it can sometimes rub off the wrong way at times. Having said that, I'm gonna put a pin in that. Yes, Liverpool definitely have something to say this season. They are going to be pushing hard. They are going to try and win every game they can. They're going to try and do it a little differently from what they did in the Klopp era. And I think they definitely have a strong point to prove against Manchester City and Arsenal. Um, opening games, the big team that Liverpool played was probably Manchester United at Old Trafford, which Liverpool won 3-0, which is a great result. But let's think about it. Manchester United are in the slumps themselves. They're not doing very well. They're struggling. And if they're not going to pull their socks up, they will be in a completely different battle for mid-table or even survival. We don't know, but that's Manchester United, and that's not part of this talk show. So I'm not gonna spend any more time on that. Let's get back to Liverpool. Yes, so that game is coming up on Sunday morning here, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Sorry, 10:30 a.m. Central time. In Austin. Of course, you can check your local listings for the kickoff times. Liverpool have done a good job up to date, and we're definitely hoping to take it up a notch. Moving on to other Liverpool news, Curtis Jones has just welcomed his new baby girl into the world. The mom is doing really well. Of course, there was a video of Curtis receiving a small gift. In that gift, it was a small baby teddy bear and a red Liverpool jersey for the little one. So our heartfelt congratulations to Curtis Jones. Great job, getting your daughter, and good news to hear that the mom is doing well as well. We'll see what else we have here. I'm just skimming through some photos from the Liverpool team's latest training session. So we can see some of the players all smiles so far. Other big news, Dominic Szoboszlai has recently proposed to his then girlfriend, now probably fiance. So they're moving into a family direction, I guess, in the long term. Of course, Szoboszlai played really well for Hungary over the international break. I think he played against Netherlands, and he played against another team as well. I remember he scored a couple of goals. Great job from Szoboszlai. Van Dijk, unfortunately, he was sent off in that one of those games. So he'll definitely come back wanting to shake that off. We also know Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold should be fine. Trent scored that brilliant free kick for England, so which is really good. He'll try to carry that form in. Something else I think we want to touch on is Darwin Núñez. Under Klopp, we've seen him being used a lot more than Jota and Cody Gakpo. I think, with Arne Slot, probably because of the Dutch connection, he seems to prefer using Gakpo a lot more than Núñez. He's, I think that, honestly, my own opinion, Núñez has got a fantastic explosiveness about him. So he's really quick, and that explosiveness actually takes him a step beyond to actually try and catch up to. But the only problem, I feel like he lacks that little bit of composure we've seen so many opportunities where he's actually had chances and he would sky it, or he would shoot into the crowd or hit the post. And even many of the goals he does score, he's actually hit the post and scored those goals. So I'm just thinking out loud here. It might be something that Liverpool or Arne Slot is considering or reassessing, really, what Nunez can do, or how he wants to use Nunez in the next few months or years, depending on what Nunez wants. I don't think he's happy with the lack of games, but I definitely think he's in a very good spot right now. He's dangerous. He's young. He can learn. I just think he needs a little more composure, and sometimes a mentor like Mohamed Salah would be great to help him out there. Other than that, let's briefly skim through some more updates. I think no other injury issues to respond or touch on. Of course, Luis Diaz will be, and Diego Jota and Cody Gakpo would be players to look forward to at the game against Chelsea. Liverpool do have an extra day because they're playing on a Sunday, so that might be good. So we'll see how that game goes. I will be definitely tuning in, and depending on how that game goes, I might release a post-game interactive discussion. So once again, guys, it's come up to about 30 minutes plus right now. I really appreciate the time for you, those of you that have tuned in. My name is Darshan. I am still new to these podcasts, so I am going to maybe launch it onto a YouTube channel or even do something on later. I will grow from this, and I want to just say it's been a great opportunity to start here. Most likely I am going to continue to grow this podcast, and soon you might be seeing video cameras and guests and fans from Austin or Texas or anywhere around the world, really. With the internet you can talk to anyone. So we're going to take a step forward from here, and hopefully we'll grow. Given that, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you once again. It's been a good start, I believe, and I look forward to talking to you all again in the coming weeks. Once again, my name is Darshan, or my friends call me DJ. So thank you for listening in to this podcast, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Signing out. Good night.